Welcome to Intermission, a fan episode that, like I said, sort of solves a lot of problems with murder drones. What do I mean by that? Well, probably smart if I start off with the little things before I talk about the mess that is via. Sorry, holy shit! I just had a stroke. What the? And an Uzi, and V. Before I talk about that mess, I'm first gonna talk about the little things because there's like sort of only one little thing before like the important shit. Yeah.
Wait, barely?
What?
You said barely, as in you remember a life before all the mass murder crap.
Yeah, what of it?
That means we haven't hit a dead end yet. We have a lead.
Huh?
You two might be the key to figuring out the root to all this robo vampires and BS. All we have to do is get in your head and see what's jacking up your processor. Then maybe we can finally start getting some answers.
Yeah, I don't think that's going
Love
to...
the idea. One problem though, our memories are mush, remember?
That won't be a problem for me.
If you're wondering why I just showed this clip, so let me explain to you how episode 5, like what happened between episode 4 and 5. So basically, in episode 5, if you pay really close attention to what they basically say that N and V just sort of... Oh shit, I didn't... They sort of just passed out, and that Uzi like went to her head to see what the fuck was going on, and then realized that something was like jacking up the memory. But this is an actual setup. Actual setup for what's about to happen, instead of just oopsie daisy, they died, the end. Their memories just... That's it. This is like an actual setup, you know. Two things. If you like pretend that this is canon and like make a playlist where this is in between episode 4 and 5, yes, that's where this takes place. You like I have a bit of a problem with some of the dialogue, like where they say explain what happened instead of showing a flashback, which they really should have. And also, the ending is a bit weird because this sort of like shows that they agreed instead of just forcefully, went along, yeah. Also, probably good time to talk about like the one complaint that I heard about this episode.
God will now know fear! I'm airborne, suckers!
First of all, love the James Bond reference. But the complaint is that every Murder Drones episode ends with a cliffhanger. This isn't necessarily a cliffhanger, but I mean, like, that's a really, really tiny detail that not many people would notice. I didn't notice it myself. I feel like such a... Also, it's that little of an issue that I barely notice it, and it doesn't affect the episode at all. Well, it affects it a little bit, but I mean, like, it's really not that important. Now that I have that out of the way, I have to talk about the mess that is N and Uzi, and how this helps V's character. You might ask, why is this a mess then, if it's a good thing? Let me, for the love of God, just please, for the love of God, let me do my setup. Just without questions, let me do my setup. Because if you keep questioning this, you don't get the realization where you notice that I was talking.
Insatiably bloodthirsty side. The more control you have, the less likely you'll up your body count against your will, you know?
You might be wondering, cocaine, how the fuck does this prove your point? Well, you can kind of see that they're like friends, but there's something more serious going on. it's still a big leap from what happened, but it's a more reasonable thing that could happen. There's probably many couples that had this kind of progression, where it was like, yeah, there's a little thing going on between us, and then suddenly, bam, holding hands. You know? It's a bit more reasonable build-up. That's the only thing for this. And before I get into how this just makes V's character better, I literally just thought of something else that I can talk about for a second. And that's the whole thing with how Uzi is with, you know, the whole, you know, the whole, she has a, sort of demonic demon solver thing within her that's causing her nightmares and stuff. Also, they acknowledge the whole fact that they need oil, which Glitch and Liam forgot about. So this fan remembers that plot point, and the people that made the plot point and made the show does. This is really good. It shows the effects that it has on Uzi mentally, and sort of shows that she's kind of schizophrenic now. I really like that. It's like it's something that would probably happen. Also, I just remembered one small complaint. Basically the previous episode, Uzi got possessed by the solver, and now it happens again. Bit weird, but you know, yeah, it's really not that bad. It is really not that bad. It's not as bad as how underdeveloped V. With that seamlessly screen transition, let's talk about what V does, what this episode does for the character V.
You know, if we really want to take care of our little feral emo girl problem, what we could do instead is blow her brains out.
See, she still clearly wants to kill Uzi, like how it was with the previous episodes. But something happens along the way of this episode.
Go Splat call dibs on her corpse.
She'll be fine.
Still falling!
Or not.
Also, if you don't understand that, in the Glitch X thing, or somewhere, I don't know, Liam clarified that the hair that the drones have is borrowed from the humans.
Are you ready?
Didn't really stick the landing.
Before I go further in depth with what's about to happen, and how this episode also sort of fixes some problems that Anne had. Yeah, I know, I was also shocked too that the silly little goober, that the silly little goober has problems. Yeah, that's weird. But you can see a natural development of hey, I still want to kill you, and then sort of sees what N sees in Uzi, basically. And I don't mean romantically, get away! But I mean you know, it's sort of she starts to see Uzi more as a friend because she spends more time with Uzi instead of just like, hey, I'm gonna kill you. She's like, I have to help you, and then starts to see like, oh yeah, she isn't all that bad. And when Uzi does get possessed, not only has V a very in-character response and something that I'm pretty sure all of us would do, but N finally sides with V. And before I do this, there is a clip that I could show, but then it'll be completely plagiarizing a different video. So, yeah.
We need to blast her.
What? We can't do that!
And shut up and listen! If you want a chance to salvage your goody two-shoes plan, then you need to blast her. If she's anything like us, like you said, she'll just shut off and reboot.
But
Do you want me to help you make this work or not? Come on.
okay, as long as she'll be okay.
I'll get her down here and you deal the final blow. Got it?
As you could see with that clip, N finally realizes, yeah, V's right. I've been siding with Uzi this entire time, but in order to help her, we sometimes have to hurt her. That's amazing. The fact that, like, N finally stops just being so blinded by, like, being, no, Uzi is perfect and she never does anything wrong. He finally realizes it's a pretty dire situation. Dire situation causes for dire actions. And that is so well. Even when he is literally about to die, he still doesn't really want to hurt Uzi. But he like, oh my god, a fucking truck ruined this moment. Get up! He's still like, I don't want to hurt a friend. But if I don't hurt my friend will hurt me. And that's just